This is Walter Mythgate reporting for GNN, the Gielinor News Network. Since the release of new tree patches in Varlamore, many adventurers have been messaging us on their Comorb asking us how to train farming with tree runs. Our producer, Weave, has created this guide for your enjoyment, education, and encouragement. Take it away, Weave.
Thanks, Walter. I'll take it from here. Ready, folks? Before we get started, let me detail how this guide is set up. The first portion will cover what I would say are the baseline requirements you should shoot for before you start trying out tree runs. The second portion will show how I would do a novice tree run. The third portion will detail how you can expand that tree run as you level your farming skill, find more tree patches while you're out adventuring, and unlock better travel methods. So, let's get started with the guide. Walter, segue.
Novice tree run requirements.
Okay. When it comes to tree runs, they are the best way to level up your farming skill. Outside of quests, of course, I recommend completing the following quests to get you started on your farming skill so you do not have to train farming before being able to do the tree runs. Straight from the wiki, quote, completing the Goblin General subquest of Recipe for Disaster, Fairy Tale 1, Growing Pains, Forgettable Tale, The Garden of Death, Garden of Tranquility, Enlightened Journey, and My Arm's Big Adventure grant a total of 32,500 experience, which will get the player up to level 38. This skips much of the tediousness of low-level farming and allows the player to do effective farm runs immediately, unquote. That's exactly what I was saying. The best thing about these quests is that the requirements are easy to complete early on into an account. Assuming you have at least 38 farming from completing those quests, you will be able to plant saplings and tree patches, which require 15 farming, fruit tree patches, which require 27 farming, and hardwood tree patches, which require 35 farming. We will be using some transportation methods that include at least 45 magic, and to get around Varlamore with only Quetzals, you may want to have Twilight's Promise done. But hey, walking is always an option, if only a little slower. To get to the final 3 hardwood patches, you'll need to have the Bon Voyage quest done. But since those cannot be done as often, feel free to use the rest of this guide until you get that quest done. Let's get started making a tree run that includes all 3 types of those trees. Granted, tree patches could be run more than once a day, and hardwood trees can only be run roughly every 4 days.
The novice tree run.
Right. As Walter was saying, for this novice run, we will be using the Lumbridge, Varrock, Falador, Taverley, Gnome Stronghold, and Nemus Retreat tree patches. For fruit tree patches, we will be visiting the Gnome Stronghold, Tree Gnome Village, Catherby, Brimhaven, and Kastori fruit tree patches. Finally, for our hardwood patches, we will be visiting Fossil Island and the Avium Savannah. There are other varieties of tree patches and other tree patches that aren't on this list, but that's okay. You'll unlock those once you run this circuit a few times and get out there and adventure more around Gielinor. Since we have our patches in mind that we want to get to, let's talk about how we will get to each one. Being on the standard spellbook, we will want Air, Earth, Fire, Law, and if you have 51 magic with Plague City done, Water runes. Otherwise, make sure you have at least 45 magic to use all the teleports that require the other runes. If you have a rune pouch, great. If not, no big deal. Those runes will get you to, or help you get to Lumbridge, Varrock, Falador, Taverley, Nemus Retreat, Brimhaven by way of Ardoin, and Kastori. Now, we just need a way to get to Gnome Stronghold and Tree Gnome Village. For this, we'll use an Ardoin Cloak 1 to teleport to the monastery and make our happy way over to the Khazard Battlefield Spirit Tree. With the runes in your pack and the cape on your back, grab 6 tree saplings, willows are the highest at 38 farming, 5 fruit tree saplings, of which bananas are the highest at 38 farming, and for hardwood, teak are the highest that you have access to at 38 farming. Grab some gold for the gardeners to remove your trees after you get the XP drop, a rake, and a spade. Don't worry, we aren't going into the wild to lose it to a player killer. Then there's compost. Compost reduces the chance that your tree is going to get diseased, and if you're anything like me, since I don't check on my trees, die. But who needs to use compost if you can pay a farmer to watch your crops? The question is simple to answer for both accounts. If you can easily acquire the items as an Iron Man, gather them and pay. If you can chip in the extra GP as a main to buy the protection, it is well worth it for almost every tree until you get to the 2 highest tiers of the various tree patches where the cost becomes prohibitively expensive. With the benefits of farmer protection weighed out, grab enough ultra compost for the patches you aren't paying the protection for. Irons, don't worry. You can stock up on this by buying pineapples from the charter ships, putting it in a compost bin at any allotment patch, and adding 25 volcanic ash to the bin. Or 2 ash to each bucket. For the mains, you can buy this off of the GE for a criminally low amount. Having said that, if you are paying protection, do not use compost. This goes for both account types, as the reason has nothing to do with how hard the protection or compost are to get, but due to the fact that compost only reduces disease chance, unlike herbs, where it will also increase yield. If you're paying for protection, there is no need to use an ultra compost to reduce the disease chance at each stage by 90% when you are already paying to reduce it by 100%. For educational purposes, I'm going to roleplay as a novice iron who is going on their first tree run. Oh boy, I can't wait to plant these tree seeds that I received from training woodcutting and fletching in the Varlamore Vale totems and Hunter during my birdhouse runs. Oh man. I will grab my runes for the teleports and equip my Ardoin cape. I have my rake, spade, and gold to pay the farmers to remove the trees after I harvest them. I've also grabbed my following noted produce: 21 full baskets of apples, a basket of tomatoes, and 9 ears of corn. And I made these by buying baskets from a farming store and filling them with apples that I bought from Cabado's groceries in Civitas Illa Fortis. Those will work as payments for my willow and banana trees, but I'm one short of seeds from those tiers, so I'll need to resort to my apple and normal trees. To pay for those, I filled more baskets with tomatoes from Cabado's and some corn I picked south of the city. I don't have a way to pay the Limport roots for the teak trees, so I made 4 ultra compost by filling the compost bin in Catherby with pineapples from the charter ship at the city docks and then filling it with volcanic ash that I collected from Fossil Island. Finally, I have my saplings that I made by using seeds on filled plant pots while I had a trowel on me. I then watered them with a watering can, and after a little bit of time, they were ready to be planted. Your stories may vary, and that's okay, especially if you're a main like myself, as all of that is boiled down to just buying it at the Grand Exchange. You may notice I only grabbed 4 tree saplings and 3 fruit tree saplings. I am leaving my other saplings for when we bank in Gnome Stronghold. While it is possible to fit a lot more in your inventory, it makes it easier to harvest your fruit if you have more inventory space. If you don't care about harvesting your fruit, which is very likely if you're a main, go ahead and bring more, and then pay the farmer to remove your tree before you harvest so you don't need to worry about that inventory space. Remember folks, problems solve themselves if you ignore them. Unless you're an iron. Just remember, you signed up for the helmet. Without further ado, let's get to Lumbridge to start this run. Weed the weeds and use the sapling on the patch. Then, either use your compost or pay the farmer. In my case, I am paying the farmer. If you noticed, I have a tile mark that directs me to my next patch. Without this, in the past, I would go from patch to patch hoping I would get to them all. Now, with this tip I just picked up from the Wild Mudkip video he released months ago, I can be sure to hit them all. Simply ensure ground markers are enabled on RuneLite. Shift-click the tile you want to mark and click Mark Tile. Then, shift-click that same tile and select Label Tile. Type in the name of the next patch, Falador, and we are off. In Falador, we are running to the tree patch in the park. Do the song and dance there, pause this video to create your label that ushers you to Taverley, start the video again, and get to hoofing it. If you're balling out with law runes, you can teleport to Falador Square instead and run from there. Plant your tree that is conspicuously close to a hot air balloon, foreshadowing. Mark your tile, and don't pause the video this time because you're able to quickly label Catherby before you teleport away to Camelot. From Camelot, run southeast to where the truest gamers are fishing AFK and plant your fruit tree. If this is your second run, harvest your fruit. If you use your fruit on the nearby little person, is that more offensive than leprechaun? You can note them. Yes, this works for all farming produce. With your new tree planted and your tile marker placed for Brimhaven, teleport to Ardoin with your cloak or your teleport spell that you unlocked with 51 magic in Plague City completed. With Ardoin Square as our point of reference, we will ignore the hate crimes against knights and take the boat south to Brimhaven. Do the deed there and mark your tile for Gnome Stronghold. The studious group of viewers will know that we are headed to the fruit tree via the Ardoin Cloak Monastery teleport and running to the northwest. Those of you who weren't paying attention will need to visit a bank to get the cloak and collectively eat our dust. Taking the spirit tree to the Gnome Stronghold, we will take care of business at the fruit tree patch just to the east of the spirit tree when we arrive. From there, we will run southwest to the tree patch. Feel free to give your monitor the best Bon Jovi impersonation you have because we are halfway there, folks. Head up to the bank that is upstairs nearby and grab 2 tree saplings, 2 fruit tree saplings, and 4 hardwood saplings along with any compost you may need. If you have anything to restore your stamina, now might be a good time to do so. Otherwise, better get used to walking. Go down the stairs and head to the Tree Gnome Village via the spirit tree you came in on, or with? Leave immediately through the fence due to your achondrophassophobia and quickly overcome it for a moment to have Elkoi escort you through the maze. Run to the southeast for a short distance, which you aren't afraid of because it's a distance that is short and not a person. Plant your tree and mark your tile for Varrock and teleport to Varrock Square. Run north to the palace courts where you will plant your penultimate tree for this novice run. From here, mark your tile for Varlamore. As you start running to the Quetzal outside Varrock, open your spellbook and notice there's a teleport to Civitas Elafortis that requires 54 mage and get upset that you aren't that level to save yourself this jaunt. If you do have that mage level, be upset that you didn't think to click it because you were listening to my instructions. If you did click the teleport, be sure to comment on this video that you're better than me and that you didn't need to watch the video about novice tree runs. Even if you're hurtful, your engagement means a lot, so go ahead and like the video while you're at it. As we've made our way to Varlamore, run south to the Avium Savannah. Man, that landing site you're running by would be convenient to use in a moment. Too bad you haven't built it yet since you're a novice adventurer. Keep running south and plant your tree next to the socialist frogs. Yes, that is derogatory. I hate amphibians. If you haven't done the required quest, do it now since you don't need anything that isn't at this location. Plant your first hardwood tree before you mark your tile for the Nemus Retreat and head to the bird at the Hunters Guild to the northwest. Go ahead and take that bird to Quetzalcoatl Gorge. Once you land, take the road west out of the gorge and use the mountain guide to get to Auburn Valley. If you don't have Twilight's Promise done, simply take a hike up there and make a mental note of all the time you could save if you had completed that quest. The tree is right inside the retreat. Plant it, and mark a tile that ushers you to Kastori. To get there, run to the rowboat and take it to Kastori. The fruit tree is to the northwest, just outside of the town. Finally, mark your tile for Fossil Island and teleport to Varrock and run to the dig site. Since I am a novice that hasn't unlocked all of the Mushroom Network or the Fossil Island teleport option for the dig site pendant, the only option I have is to teleport to the dig site, take the boat to the island, and run around the hill with a conveniently placed hole going through it. Finally, plant your remaining 3 hardwood saplings and congratulate yourself on your first tree run. Remember, you can do trees more than once a day, the fruit trees daily, and the hardwood trees almost twice a week. If you are anything like me, you hear that and do your trees whenever your hardwood trees are grown. But what if you aren't a novice?
Post-novice farming.
As you continue leveling farming, you'll unlock trees to plant in these patches that give you more experience. Similarly, you will unlock more patches to plant different types of trees that you can add to your tree runs. The Hespori patch in the Farming Guild at 65, Calquat patches in Taibo-Wani and Kastori at 72, the Crystal Tree patch in Priddanas at 74, the Farming Guild Celastris patch at 85, and the Redwood patch nearby at level 90. Leveling farming isn't the only way to progress the skill either, so be sure to keep adventuring. By completing Morning's End Part 1, you'll unlock a fruit tree patch that you can add to your runs, and if you achieve 85 thieving, you'll even be able to get the enhanced teleport seed that lets you teleport to the patch without having to recharge the normal teleport seeds. By completing Fairy Tale Part 2, you'll be able to unlock fairy rings, which are a great way to get to the Farming Guild patches without using a skills necklace charge, and it's a quicker way to get to the Avium Savannah hardwood patch. As you unlock these teleports and patches, you'll be able to take what you've learned from this guide and slot it into where you find convenient. And if you hate raking weeds, consider unlocking the Auto Weed perk from the Tithe Farm. As a matter of personal preference, I always like to save my Farming Guild patches for last, as it lets me re-gear for my Hespori fight. Alrighty folks, this guide was meant to be just that, a guide. As you progress into new patches and teleports, feel free to change the order as much as you like. Your tree run is yours. My final piece of advice is for the forgetful folks like myself. Make use of the timers plugin in RuneLite to know when your trees are ready to be checked for the XP drop. This is particularly useful if you plan to do runs while your hardwood patches are still growing, and even more true if you plan to check tree patches more than once a day while your fruit trees are still growing. With that final note out of the way, the guide is concluded. Walter, take us out.
Thank you, Weave. Remember, folks, if you have any questions specific to your account progression and how tree runs fit into it, please leave us a comment. This video was made due to the success of our Demonic Gorillas guide, and we plan to drop another guide when there isn't much to report on. If you liked this video, please show us by leaving a like. As for our regular programming, we provide weekly corporate news broadcasts covering the happenings around Gielinor. If that interests you, go ahead and subscribe. This has been Weave and Walter Mythkite